She is a child psychologist and a neuroscientist. To quit the old project and go back to Italy, trying to keep up children the human side of the child. My own neuroscience that I tested on my own son and he could do it. Monkey baby sees and monkey baby learns.
I got introduced to Dr. Aperna through Prasad Garu, who is a true synergizer in all aspects. She is bringing a revolutionary movement to India that actually is going to shape the future of our country. And the future of our country depends on our kids, our children. But sadly, the education system that is the key foundation for any child, including each one of us, is a lot compromised here. So she has dared to change it. Let me give you a little context that she is a child psychologist and a neuroscientist who has spent around 32 years in different parts of Europe and has understood that there is a clear gap in the Indian education system that needs to be filled. And the solution that she is bringing is from her experiences staying, researching, and studying in Europe. So I would want to ask her that why did she dare to do this big change and sit on the ship to create a new landscape of kindergarten education and onwards for children in India? So tell us, why are you doing this?
Okay, this is very interesting question because it was not I wanted to do it. It
Okay.
was my mom who wanted to do it.
Okay.
So all the time when she was alive, I didn't bother to do it. But after she left this world, I thought like, okay, if she wanted me to do it, I should do it.
Wow.
So probably that's one reason why I'm doing it from my heart. This whole thing, though it's so um, tedious, it's so difficult to again get back to the Indian economic kind of environment and do it, but I'm doing it. And still, like, I introduced this whole thing just before the COVID, so we were really growing through. And then the COVID struck, and we were again silent for like 2, 3 years. And then I restarted, but then I think I ran out of the funds, I ran out of energy. And as you said, again, it's Mr. Prasad Garapati. I would thank him. So I was about to quit the whole project and go back to Italy, and that's when he said, no, you shouldn't go back. You should stay, and I'm going to support. So now he's the chairman of this company, and we are now, he's taking it to the next level. So I think every time I want to quit, probably destiny is in India. So I just want to stay back now.
Yeah, so entrepreneurship is all about actually quitting and then not quitting and finding these torch bearers of hope that keeps coming, right? So let's talk about the basic science that you say that is really flawed in child education in India. Why? What is the flaw about? What is this gap?
Children are all about learning every day. Children are about learning in an open space. Children are not about putting them in cages like chicken. So they wouldn't learn anything.
Yeah.
So children are not about saying don't, no. Children are about knowing everything. They want to know if they break a toy, it's not because they want to break a toy. They are not mischievous. They're not children. They're not the people who want to break and mess up. But they want to know the sound when they're breaking it. That why that sound is coming. They're just curious.
Yeah.
When they open up the whole toy, they just want to know what's inside. So it's the curiosity. So if you start saying no, 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 I think all about our education system is about telling them no and don'ts, no and don'ts. So the curiosity, you just close that curiosity. So and then you say we want researchers and scientists. How? From where does researchers and scientists come? When they're kids, that's when they want to be the researchers and scientists. And I think like when some time back you said that yesterday you had this robotics entrepreneur here and talking about, so robotics for kids is something so important because robotics is all about breaking, undoing, doing, and redoing, and then that's where what really takes the kid to the next level, with his curious brain doing many more things. So it's not about learning ABC, it's not about learning alphabets or singing some nursery rhymes. So that's where again we are very different. That's where I'm bringing this whole methodology and technology from Europe to India. And actually, I'm saying I'm bringing this back to India, but actually, it's not true because it went from India to Europe, and
Yeah.
I'm just bringing it back to India because I would compare here now what we call STEM education,
Right.
what we call robotics. This was all done in our past during the Vedic ages, in our Gurukulas.
Right.
This was all a science that was there. But unfortunately, we messed up with it. We came up with a Europe with a kind of a education that British brought into India.
Yes.
And this kind of education was not for making Indians into entrepreneurs or
Yeah.
scientists or researchers. This was an education that they brought, and it was only to make us clerks.
Yeah.
And now the British have gone. We don't need clerks. We need entrepreneurs. We need the daring hearts. We need the curious minds. And our education system still rolls out there. So I think I'm just bringing the missing link between what we had in the Vedic time and what we need to be in the modern age. So it's nothing that I'm bringing from Europe. But yes, because when you talk about Vedic age or Vedas, then it's also now branded as a religious thing. So I
Yeah.
don't want to be we are absolutely secular, so we don't want to be branded as some religious organization, some religious sect, or some religion. So I'm just saying, yes, we are bringing it from Europe back into India. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. So you just said that, that it's not about nursery rhymes, ABCs. Can you give us a little bit of light on some things that are actually that is happening in your school and is not happening in other kindergarten?
Yeah, we are just trying to develop the child as a whole child. We are trying to develop because that's what we need.
Yeah.
We need the whole child because I'll just give you a small example of a child in the family who's with maybe grandparents who have never gone to school, who are analphabetic, but still the child learns so much.
Right.
And in fact, like here, I would quote about my great great grandmother, whom I saw when I was a kid, and she was analphabetic, but she would tell me all the stories from Ramayana, Mahabharata. She would sing the folklore, and I learned all that from her. So it's nothing to do with alphabetic, analphabetic. Education and literacy, they are two different things. Here in kindergarten, we don't need literacy. We need education. We need to educate not only the kids' mind, soul, heart, physical behavior, everything. We need to tell them in such a nice way that they don't become violent. So at this moment, like I would just say, the child was born without any violence, without any
Yeah.
anger, without any fear, and then suddenly you start putting everything into the child. Shut your mouth. Like, why should the child shut the mouth? The mouth was given to speak, and child's just learning to speak. And you don't say finger on your lips. No,
Yeah.
child's supposed to speak whatever in whichever language. So our kindergartens are a place where children are growing and talking in whatever language they want to speak, because India is a language like English is not our, of course, it's mother is lingua franca, but it's not our mother language.
Right. That's
It's
true.
not our mother tongue. So I always encourage the parents to say, please speak in whatever language you speak, because kids can speak 100 languages. So this is the time when they say no, you speak in English. What about the neurons that can speak 99 languages more? So they go into the dormant stage. So being a neuroscientist, in our school, we are bringing neuroscience as a tool which is embedded not into the curriculum, teaching methodology, learning things, into the ambience, into everything, so that we develop the whole child. Anyway, when the child has to write, he will write. When he has to do 2 plus 2, he will do. I don't have to really teach that. With age, it would come.
Right.
What child needs to know is suddenly Modi ji cannot say Swachh Bharat, and suddenly Modi ji cannot transform the whole population that okay, don't spit, don't put
Right.
dust here. But if you teach it to the child now that this is trash and it goes in the bin, he would always put a bin
Yeah.
wherever he would be. He
Yeah.
would eat a chewing gum and look where to put it.
Right.
So tomorrow, even if he smokes, he will not throw the butt anywhere.
Right.
He will look. If there's nothing, he will put it in his pocket like everyone else does.
And automatically the country is doing Swachh Bharat.
So
then.
if you have one generation that comes up with this kind of education, that's why I'm talking about education and not literacy. They are two different things. Children till 7 years need to be educated. Children need to be told that, when you meet a stranger, however poor, however rich, however ugly looking, or however dirty, but he's a human being.
Right.
So you just need to wish him and say hello and give him a smile. Not just say, no, I'll not speak. No, don't do that. That's to be taught in the house.
Yeah.
And if it's not taught in the house, just because parents are so busy, we teach them in the school. So this is where we are so different.
You're working on the value system.
Yeah, it's the education.
Yeah. It's all
values and morals, everything. Just
Yeah.
we're trying to be what you were saying, the human side of the child.
Right. Yeah. That's really actually wonderful because, all of us in this room, I think today we are a sum total of our childhood experiences, I would say. Adult experience later, but childhood experiences. Like when I look at myself and I see, okay, why do I have this notion for this thing? And I look back to my childhood, okay, this experience formed this. So I think that's so important, right? And parents also need to be trained over the time that how do you speak to your child. But I know how is it teaching an adult and how is it teaching a child, it's two different things, right?
Children actually don't need to be taught.
Yeah, they just see and they learn.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
see that the sponge.
Yeah.
What they see is what they absorb.
Right.
So it's very important for the parents in the house not to speak foul language, not to be violent, not any negative gesture, because the
Right.
child just learns it. And I've seen, like you were asking me in the initial days, why did I come here? Because I always, like, what really wounded my heart was, like, I saw a mother slapping a child. And I said, like, come on, you don't slap a child, it's just a child. She said, you don't know, he doesn't listen. I said, yeah, he doesn't listen because how do the children in the West listen?
Yeah.
Why your child doesn't listen? Like, I never, like, you don't beat your child. I never
Right.
did, and nobody else did.
Right.
So why? Because first you say no, and that no means no. The child has to understand the word no. Then you say no, then you say no, and then you slap, and then the child always waits when you say no. Okay, till I don't get to that point,
I
it
get
means
you.
yes, 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 yes. It's not yes, no is a no, and the child has to understand that. So it's not child's mistake.
Right.
It's an adult's mistake.
Yeah.
So I might look very prejudiced towards children. Yes, I am. I like because children are what we make out of them.
Of course.
So it's a generation that has to come up, and even now, as parents, as adults, we don't change our attitude in school, at home. We're going to spoil one more generation.
Yeah. So you're saving the next generation actually.
Just trying to not make them criminals,
Yeah.
not take to drugs. That's what is my educate. And as I said, literacy. Anywhere they will be literate.
Right.
Anywhere they will go to school, they will go to university.
Yes, that's true.
This is the education.
Yeah. Sure.
Both for boys and for girls. It's education. You don't 90% of the crime in the society finishes if the child has grown up nice.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
we give the right schooling now.
Right.
So
Right. They're all literate. I'm not saying, but right, you said not rightly educated, maybe. Yeah. So she puts a very, very valid point, I think so. So while you just explained about your school, I would like to know what is the importance of neuroscience in education. You've been quoting this so much, but people don't get it right. So can you talk about that?
yes, neuroscience is very young science, and it was basically we were using it only for special needs kids or adults who met with accidents, something like this. But now we are trying to bring neuroscience into preschool education in a way that the brain is the same and brain is growing and developing, so we need to develop it in the right way. Something that I always tell to everyone when they ask about neuroscience, I don't use very strong jargons and all, but in very simple language, I can compare it to a cupboard. So when you have a cupboard and you have your clothes placed on it, your pants, trousers, shirts, handkerchiefs, and when it's everything is put properly and you want to get a handkerchief, so you just automatically go pick it up, right? But if it's all upside down, then you start looking for a handkerchief.
Right.
You open the cupboard and you look, and you throw out the clothes up and down to find that small little thing.
True.
So that's what the brain is all about. Brain, if you just put input, and you don't tell the brain where to store what, it stores all over.
Yeah.
And then when you want to say 2 into 2 is how much, and your brain just 2 into 2 is how much. But if I put it just like an arranged, organized cupboard, if I organize the brain and I put the mathematics into the logistic part of the brain and the language into the language part of the brain, so then when the brain has to give the output, it will just go tick.
Okay.
So it's speed. It's all about speed. So the more you're organized, the more you're speedy, right?
Right. That's true.
Be it at your home, office, anywhere. Same is the case with brain. So neuroscience is all about telling which information goes and lands and sits in which part of the brain,
Right.
and from there how fast you can pick it up.
Yeah, this just
So-
takes me back to my childhood. There was this trend of abacus that started. Everybody is going to these new abacus schools. Is it like a small part of what you're talking about?
Yes, absolutely. Then you just, how do you tell the brain that this is the part where mathematics should sit?
Right.
It's repetitive. So that is neuroplasticity of the brain.
Right.
So neuroplasticity is, especially if you like to see basketball game,
Right.
if you would have seen
Yeah.
ever,
Yeah.
the basketball game is not about throwing the basket, making the basket, or throwing the ball into the basket.
Right.
It's all about how to stop your opponent from making a basket. Because the basketball players have practiced so much that they take the ball, even if they turn on that side and throw, it's a basket.
Right.
So that's the brain and the muscle power. That's the neuroplasticity of the brain.
Okay.
So if you continuously do repeatedly, the brain knows that's the where it goes. So
Right.
abacus is nothing but it's a part of teaching some logistics and some logical reasoning and mathematical skills. So you just do it, brain knows it's there. So
Right.
that's how you become fast in and you have that speed in your mathematical skills.
Right.
So it's the same about language, it's the same about science, it's the same about everything. So that's what we do in our preschool.
Right.
We teach the child where to take that information and put.
Where to put it? Okay.
So that no one is doing in the world, and we are the only preschool in the world to do this.
Yeah.
And we have all these tools of neuroscience, like so many tools are there. I just said neuroplasticity is one. So we're putting them into our books, into our curriculum, into our methodology, teaching material, and doing it. So the child can learn very fast and also repeat very fast and give out that information very fast. And once this is done till 7 years,
They
then the
become
child,
part
yeah,
of
can
it.
be 17 years, 27 years, 57 years,
And they'll
any
be
part of the world, he would be the fastest.
okay.
And also the speed reading is another part
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
are
yeah.
doing about.
Lot of people like us, we are learning it. We
Yeah.
want to know
And so
so
it's
much.
nothing. Speed reading is nothing but it's photographic memory. So
Right.
you just know that this is not to be read, but it's just like a photograph. Like I see this cup and I say it's cup. I
Right.
don't read CUP
Right.
cup, right?
Yeah.
So that's photographic memory.
Right.
And Swami Vivekananda was expert in this.
Right.
But unfortunately, like all our saints, they take all their information and knowledge and go to the grave. So they don't transmit it.
Right.
That's where I think the Westerners are good when we go to the university in the West.
Yes.
We put it into our books, into our research papers, into the journals, and we like write down everything.
Absolutely.
And that's where if only our saints could give us that all in writing, we would be the fast. Obviously, we are the best. Like we are the very intelligent crowd in the world, but we would have been much better as a race.
Of course. While you explain me all about education that you want to provide through these neuroscience as well as these novel techniques, I want to understand one thing, that entrepreneurship actually stems with our own experiences. So, can you tell me your experience of educating your own son?
Very nice question. Thank you. This is very personal, but yes. As you said, you come from a business background. I don't come from a business background, and actually, I'm a professional. But then when I started the school first, my son was just like 9 years old, and I used to tell him like in Italy, like everyone, we have a very open culture and everything. So I used to just to protect him from getting spoiled or something like a mother,
Yeah.
like an Indian mother
Right.
does, being very protective. I started telling him, okay, if you come to my school and start working, I give you some, pocket money, extra pocket money. So he would come, and then my staff were all Italians. They didn't know English. So they used to say, okay, could you, Antonio, teach us English? And then it was a language center also.
Hmm.
So these old women would come and say, can you teach us? Because your accent is so good and you're so good. So I used to give him so much of money and tip and, like pocket money.
Rewarding.
So yeah, so he learned how to be an accountant, how to be a teacher, how to, be a receptionist, how what his mother was doing, everything. So probably that was my own neuroscience that I tested on my own son, and he
Right.
could do it.
Yeah.
And today he is also part of this organization. He is here in India. He is being part of all this. And when parents speak to him, they really feel very nice because he speaks from his heart.
Yeah.
And they all say, "Did your mommy teach?" He says, "No, mommy. Monkey baby sees and monkey baby learns." So that's a very favorite quote.
Yes.
So so that's so natural, right?
Yeah.
We don't. He's a medical student, but nothing to do with education. But how? That's because he was always there in
Seeing
the
and
school
learning.
doing things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that was a very nice way to protect him as well.
Right.
And then when he went to the med school, he always tells very, very proudly to everyone, I went to the med school with my own money. So that's true. From 9 years, he is earning.
Wow.
So, so that's again something that I would like to tell to the entrepreneurs and to the motherpreneurs. Please involve your children into your own business,
Right.
whatever business it is.
That's
Not because they have to take over that,
right.
but it's something that you believed in it, you did it. Let your children also relish doing it.
Yeah. Right. So when you spoke about your child seeing you and learning from you, he must have seen you through difficult experiences also. Do you think that your child has developed resilience, or seeing difficult situations better than other children?
Certainly yes.
Yeah.
Certainly yes. My son joined me in India only after the COVID. So
Okay.
he knows that how much money we lost, how his mom wanted to, like worn out, and I couldn't manage anymore the situation. So he said, yes, I'll come in and join you. So today
Wow.
is part of the business is because of the COVID, it's because of resilience, is because he believes too that India needs this kind of education. He also believes that, the children are missing out on something that he got which others are not getting. So he wants to give. In the resilience part is like he also like he's seen us go through everything.
Right.
And then he grew up also with his grandparents. So my father was an army officer, my brother is an army officer. So
He
they
learns a
always
lot.
said those things, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's resilience, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
And so I've also somewhere I was reading, I forgot the numbers though, but maybe thousands of entrepreneurs start the journey of entrepreneurship every year. And after 3 years, there are just 2 or 3 of them
Yeah, that's
still
true.
surviving.
That's
So
true.
why so much of fallout? So it's
Because of resilience, for
yes,
sure. Yeah.
it's my observation is the same
Yeah.
that it's because of resilience. Don't start if you don't believe. If you start, then do anything to keep it alive.
Yeah, that's really needed. I must say I go through these experiences, but I believe in helping other entrepreneurs build their brands. And those days when you just feel like quitting, like you just think, what? But the love of it, even at 2 a.m., I would do that. So I get it, what you're saying, you know. So I want to talk about franchising. You know, this particular talk that we are doing. I want to help the founders who want to build a franchisee business. You've built a business of around 120 schools,
Yes.
right? That's a very big, actually, franchisee, and that too in not a lot of years. So, can you guide other people with this?
Yes, any business can be franchised.
Okay.
You don't have to be big words to use that.
Right.
But the basic thing about franchising is please write down whatever you do.
Okay.
Every day you need to write down. Every day you need to ask your employees to write down. Even if it means 25 words, just ask your employees to write down whatever they see, whatever they do, and text you on your WhatsApp. That's what I did, and that's what you do. And still today, I ask them, please write 25 words, 50 words, 100 words, but write a message to me about anything that you observe, anything you do. Because once in a week, you as an entrepreneur sit, read all the messages, get the gist out of it, develop your SOP. To the extent that we have developed an SOP, how to open a door, how to place the trash bag into the trash can.
Okay.
So, which is the way, how to receive a child.
Wow.
So, if you write down all the SOPs, you can definitely franchise it. That's the secret, that's the key to franchising. Write down SOPs. Don't believe in organizations, big multi-billion organizations who would come and say, I'll help you to franchise, I'll build the whole thing for you. What they would build is for hundreds of organizations, the same thing, the same line. But what you would build is for your organization.
Right.
You would put your principles in it.
Yes.
You would do the things that you love to do.
Right.
And you want others to do it because it worked for you, it should work for them.
You work on the packaging part as well, because they all have to look alike as well.
Yes. When you believe in it, then you want to do it, right?
Right.
Coca-Cola didn't change its font even till today. It didn't change its color. So don't listen to others that your color is not good, your font is not good. This would make no. If you believe that your font is good, it's good.
Yeah.
If you believe your color is good, then that's good. Don't go. There are so many branding companies who would come and say, "I want to change everything because you paid me." No, stop them.
It's the person who made it.
You made it.
Right.
You dreamt about it. You spend nights working on it, so don't let anyone touch it. Yes, for marketing, because they are marketing and you're just an entrepreneur.
Correct.
So you need the marketing people's help. Take what is to be taken for marketing purpose.
Right. Yeah.
So then you standardize that
And
and you do it.
How do you decide the franchisee amount as well, based the first time I'm just talking about?
We always look at the franchisee amount depending on the square feet space of the location. And also we want to see what's the spending capacity of the person who's buying your franchise. As I said, I'm also encouraging the women. So our franchise starts like, okay, you have a room and you want to start and you want to get a hands-on experience. So spend about 1 lakh or 2 lakhs just to get the furniture rolled out, things, minimum things. And then we support you with everything that we have. And for what we support, we take a royalty.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, we just want everyone to do
it. How many years you built 120 My School Italy franchise?
Okay, so this was like 120 was like before the COVID, and then we lost some, but still I think we are at 70, 80, 90 of them.
Nice.
Because we are working with corporates, so with lot of IT companies, we have our franchise, our setups.
Right.
And as I said, like 50 in Telangana itself, with Telangana government.
So you think the government has supported you a lot in this?
This is the problem with a developing nation. Any developing nation is not only about India.
Right.
So when the bureaucrat changes, he carries away with him all his ideologies.
Right.
And the next bureaucrat comes, he wants to redo everything. So, our project also had the same thing with Telangana government. The bureaucrat who wanted us in. We did. We opened 50 schools. And then the next bureaucrat came. He didn't have the budget for that. We wanted to even do it charity way, but we didn't get the support. So yes, it's whether the government gives the support or the bureaucrat gives the support. We have to see.
Okay, so you think that, the government should look at the newer things that are starting to continue even if the change of bureaucracy is there. So we just, you spoke about your schools, right? Where are these schools? Because I read that they are present in different parts of the country, and in those places where usually we would not see new schools coming up. So, how are you selecting these locations, and tell us about the footprints?
Okay, we have our journey with two types of schools.
Okay.
One school is for like haves, and the other kind of schools we have are for the have-nots.
Okay.
So we're doing both for the haves and the have-nots.
Right.
So the have schools for people, those are those premium schools, and we have them in Hyderabad, about 6 schools.
Oh wow.
And then we have in Mumbai, Thane to be more specific, a school. And then we have in Pune 2 schools, Jaipur, and then we also have in Andhra, and then we have in Orissa. So these are some states where we have the schools which are premium, and then we have the schools which are for the have-nots, and they are we've got like 50 schools with the Telangana government in the Telangana schools, social welfare schools.
Okay.
And then we have in Himachal Pradesh, in Lahore and Spiti, and one of our school is the highest school in the world.
Wow.
It's in Spiti.
Oh yeah.
In the Spiti Valley,
It's so
and in fact,
beautiful.
like, we also had a national geography coverage for that.
Wow.
And this specific school is very interesting because here we have the lamas. So they're just like lamas are the monks, the Buddhist monks.
Right.
So these Buddhist monks, they are picked up when they are born.
Okay.
So like when they are 2 years, then they come in 2-3 years, they come and join the monastery. So we have our preschools for these monks.
Wow.
For these baby monks in Spiti and Lahore Valley of Himachal Pradesh. So we have schools everywhere. So of course we would like to go ahead and do many more things like this, but we also have some people in India who are very rich and who live in tribal communities. For example, we have one school in Madhya Pradesh in Khandwa. Khandwa
Yes,
is
I know
known for the maximum strength of tribals in India.
Right.
And we have a premium school. This person wanted to run a premium school for these tribals. So we hardly get any money from that, but it's a premium school. So we also have these kind of people supporting us.
Wow, you're creating an ecosystem.
Yes, we have a very good point that you said. Yes, we are creating an ecosystem in India because it's not only about teaching the child or opening the schools, but we also need teachers.
Right.
Who would be trained on these kind of skills that we want in the teachers. So we do the teachers training, and we do the entrepreneurship training, so that we are more focused on the women entrepreneurs, mother-preneurs.
Wow.
So that when a woman becomes a mother, not only she grows up her child, but she can collect few more children and grow them all up together.
Wow.
So we give our franchisee in such a way that she can just start one school, one class, and then the next year when the child grows up and goes to the next class, so she comes up to the next class and the next class. So we are really promoting motherpreneurs, and at a very, very basic price, so that they can just start off and start somewhere, be independent as well, even after marriage, after having kids.
So how can this motherpreneur actually?
Actually, this concept is not very original of mine, because it comes from the Israeli concept of what's that? Please later on.
No problem.
Kibbutz.
Kibbutz.
So that I'm sorry, I just
no problem.
So kibbutz is a place where all the Israeli women keep their children, and the other women who are not working at that moment take care of the children.
Oh,
so this is and that's how the Israeli women, and that's how the Israeli economy grew so fast after the Second World War.
Yeah.
So I took that concept from there and tried to place it into India. for
Wow.
the mother-preneurs, for the women-preneurs who would just come together, raise the kids, but also earn something. And they could do this as turnouts. And this was very successful in Jaipur. So I just, before the COVID, I was trying to do these kind of things. But after the COVID, we had to really stop because we really went through financial crisis. So right now we are more focusing on the premium schools just to make some money.
Right.
So the idea also of coming into this into India is like we are coming into India, we're trying to make some money. It's only to support our social cause. We're not trying to take this money from here to our countries back. And I think also Mr. Prasad Garapati liked that idea.
Yeah.
That let's create and let's make people rich. Let's make give them an opportunity to not only learn but also learn how to make money, how to
Yeah.
become entrepreneurs. Even if you have little money to invest, maybe so we've seen women who come to me and say, I've got just a lakh of rupees, I put my gold. I said, okay, now that makes sense. Like if I would give you free, you wouldn't respect, you wouldn't work hard. Now your gold is in the bank, so you're going to work. And 2 years later, they come and say, I opened 2 more branches.
Wow.
So that's really inspiring and that's really motivating me to go ahead with this kind of process. And one live example is in Tanuku. The lady really came to me and said, I have this much money because this is all the gold I had and it's in the bank. And now it's like 2 years down the lane, she's come up with 2 schools and each school making like 50 lakhs revenue a year.
That's great.
And she's got more than 100 kids. So it's really motivating us to continue with this process of making motherpreneurs and women entrepreneurs.
So tell me one thing, that in India there is this trend. I mean, it's very sad. Lot of women who are even educated, I'm saying, when they get married, um, at least the first 2 years, it's like, you know what, I need to like settle down, adjust, okay, and slowly they fade out of their career, okay. They don't have anything great to look up to then, and sadly, respect comes at a cost with that, when their partner is not earning, and I mean the wife is not earning and the husband is, and there is this kind of a mutual respect that breaks down. They realize that. And the second is that they are not financially independent, even though they are capable, right? So can you tell, if somebody wants to actually take this up, how do they take this up?
Okay, one is they can be women entrepreneurs. We would give them all the, since we are into the franchising industry in India, we're franchising ourselves out. So we have everything ready. They just take it. It's like a piece of cake on their plate. Just need to eat.
Right.
So we're doing that. But it's also very good that you raise this point because this is very good for corporates. So we have a lot of corporate tie-ups. And if all the corporates could have this kind of kindergarten inside their corporates, they would have a lot of retentionship of the women who are leaving just because they want to take care of the kids.
Yeah, right.
If we can give not only our school, but a lot of schools like us could come up and say that, this is your second home, child's second home.
Right.
So the woman is like calm that she's, the kids being taken care,
Yes.
and then you work.
Right.
And I think, like, of course, the Indian government made it mandatory to have these kind of crash inside the school corporates, but many don't follow that. But I think like we should have more crash like inside the corporates so that you can retain the women employees.
Right.
So I would just like to say one more
Yeah,
word.
please,
Sorry.
please.
So we have like we have all our crash inside Tech Mahindra, and
Okay.
Tech Mahindra has like 32 campuses pan India. So
Wow.
we have across, and we also have at Q City. That's our IT park in Hyderabad,
Right.
just opposite American Council.
Right. Right.
So we also have it there, and it's going good. And we are giving CCTV camera access to the parents, so anytime mother or father can see the kids growing
Wow.
up. And in fact, like we have so many parents who live in Europe or in America, and the kids are with the grandparents.
Yes.
But the parents always send me, thanks Aparna, I saw my kid doing this, and that's so nice for me. So to get that kind of a compliment that we are able to give access to what the kids are doing in the school to the parents who are even abroad. Forget
Right.
about even only in India. So
Right.
this is something. So of course initially our teachers and everyone was saying, no, don't give access. Parents would just interfere and say that you're not doing right. I said, that's a motivation for you. So you would work well. You
Yes.
would be more cautious
Yes.
to do the things in the right way.
True.
If parent is lamenting, it just doesn't lament for nothing.
Of course.
So, you know,
This
so
is
these are
something
some
very
things-
new I'm hearing, because, like you just said, inside the corporates you're doing this. First time this was in context was when Elon Musk said that, you know what, all our people who work here, we have opened schools for their children, like they don't have to worry about it. And that's the kind of vision you need to empower your people with. And not, so I don't know about the quality of education there, but what you are saying is not just, a protection or retainership, but a transformation of your child experience while you work peacefully. So that's
Yes.
really good.
And also, I think at this moment, parents need to be guided. Parents need to be trained and educated themselves to know what should be there for their children.
Yeah.
So it's not that parents just go to schools and they see the interiors, they hear the name,
Yeah.
and they just join. No, parents should be educated enough to ask questions to any preschool. What do you have? What are you going to teach my kid? What's my kid going to do in this 4 hours or 8 hours that my kid's going to be with you?
Right.
So once parents start asking, the schools will start getting serious. So that seriousness has to come into this sector because unfortunately, this is the most unorganized sector in India. So when you just put on the Google most unorganized sector, it says preschool.
Yeah.
So I would actually that was also one of the reasons that I entered into India when I saw that preschools are taking so much money from the parents.
Yeah, they are.
And then you're not giving anything. There's no delivery. So there's no value for your money.
Right.
So at least if you take money and parents are affording that at cost of sacrificing something else, then at least give them what should be given to them.
Right.
Because I come from a country where schooling is free. Like I never paid a rupee or a lira or a euro for my son's education. Right from the time he was born to the time he became a doctor. So when everything is government aided, why here? Okay, government is giving, but people say government schools are not good. Okay, government schools are not good. At least the private schools should be good.
Right.
Somewhere the kids should get educated. And then when we wanted to get into this sector, everyone was telling me, Aperna, this is a very competitive sector. There are so many preschools in India. And then I googled out the children in this age group 0 to 7, 0 to 8 is 13% of our Indian population. And we are catering only for it's less than 0.05%.
Yeah.
So where is the competition? I don't see a competition.
Yeah. It's just
So
like an
it
illusion.
just means that we are not catering to the children. We are somewhere something is missing.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to still find where is that?
Yeah.
What is it that we are not able to reach the kids? Which is the way to reach the kids?
Right.
Be it like a kid from a good family, poor family, but kid is a kid.
Right. And the parents want the best
And
for
we
their
just need
kid.
to give every kid a chance.
Yep.
And that's actually the basic right of an Indian citizen, at least, I don't know, at least a means to grow up.
Yes, absolutely. I think this is a societal change that we need to have. I mean, it may sound too big and too, too moralistic, but we need people like you to start that talk, right? And not just talk, but walk the talk, do the talk, right, for us. So I'm glad I'm hearing this, because we all wish we had a better education system. Because I think being an entrepreneur, I must say that I come from an entrepreneur's family. Okay, that's okay. But I feel there are a lot of skills that I could have learned through my education. Like the pedagogy is still the same, the books are still the same, the teachers, the way of teaching is still the same. They've just put some digital screens, that's it. But everything is just the same. I could have done what I'm doing today some years back if that input was there. I would like to just add to this. When I went to France to study, I saw that this entire classroom experience was so different. My peers were like great. They were smart minds. They explored their strengths so well. Nobody talks about theory, chapters, and still. So I had the world class experience there. So I must say, if I had like a piece of pie there, the children must have a cake here. So that's great. So we organize Storyflow to cover entrepreneurs and founders who are growing their businesses, and so that we could help them in any way through our audience. So, what do you think? What kind of help do you need from our audience who are watching you and your story?
If you could help us to get to the parents and say that we have schools in the twin cities and ha- to give good education to them, we are here. And if you know people who want to be open some businesses, be entrepreneurs or motherpreneurs, then please then let them know that we are here to franchise ourselves.
Yeah. Can you tell
And
which locations you have your schools in Hyderabad?
yes, we have one in North Sing. No,
Nice.
okay, in Q City, I think it is financial district. Sorry for because I don't remember the names. One in Madhapur, one in front of the mind space, and in high just next to High Tech's exhibition center.
Oh,
That's High Tech
nice.
City. And then in we coming up with one in Jubilee Hills very soon, and we have one in Sanikpuri. And of course, with Tech Mahindra, we have it inside the Tech Mahindra campuses
Wow. So many.
in Hyderabad.
Yeah. Of course, these are all in Hyderabad.
Yes, and then we also have it in Thane, in Pune, in
Right.
Jaipur,
Wow.
in Berhampur in Orissa, and in
Yes.
Andhra, in Tadepalligudem and Tanuku. So please support us anywhere.
Yeah. So hey, this is like a sounds like a brilliant place. All those parents who are finding that best place to send your child, I think My School Italy is a great place. After hearing her story, I believe in her and her entire idea more. So we would like to actually thank you for being here. Before we organized this season of Storyflow, we reached out to founders in Hyderabad that whatever you're building, do you want to help us be our gifting partners so that we can spread even their story and get more supporters for them. So we have a curated set of gifts for you that we have actually got. These are all sent by founders who are working hard day in and out. Okay. And as I also know that, being a woman, we also look at skincare a lot. This, I would actually talk about this, is called Swastha Hita. Yes, sure. And, Swastha Hita is a creation by actually a woman. She is a cosmetologist and has studied Ayurveda. So she used to actually refer all her clients and patients with other brands which were not exactly very, very original and organic. So she started serums, oils and soaps, all made by herself in her home. Now they've got like great people coming and asking for. So Swastha Hita sent us this, and I would like to say that you should try this out and tell them how it is. So yeah,
Definitely.
and we have a gift box from Samadhura, right? They are also sending healthy sweets actually, and we have a tea dip that or soup dip from another women entrepreneur, and we have some reusable bags from another woman entrepreneur. And so we have this card, and yeah, not to forget, Mivi is also born in Hyderabad. So this is the card for you. I would like you to read this. And
Certainly.
yeah.
Awesome. So I'll use my glasses though.
Sure.
Dear Dr. Aperna, thank you for giving your gracious presence at Storyflow today. The human side of entrepreneurship is hard, but you have made it so far. What you're doing for the education system of India is awesome. We want to thank you for your efforts and contribution. You're awesome. Lots of love, team Humanize. 2311. It's an unforgettable day for me. Thank you so much. You and your team. Thanks, Archita, and
Yes.
thanks the Humanize team.
Yeah. So please take
for
this for us.
giving us this opportunity, giving my school literally this opportunity that we could go in via your media to lots of people.
Yes.
And
pleasure.
anyone who believes if we are doing something good, please join us. Join the My School Italy Global family.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.